Standing up for our interests and values, not shrinking back. Not in the face of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Not in the face of an intensifying strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
If the witness will suspend, and I ask that everyone again respect this hearing, we will suspend until the room is cleared.
Is calling for a ceasefire. Shame on you all. The world is calling for a ceasefire. The American people don't want to support this brutal war. Stop the war. Stop the ceasefire now. Stop funding this brutal massacre that Israel is doing on the people of Gaza. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
Thank you, Senator Blinken. If you can continue.
Diplomacy, our development, must work hand in hand.
Committee will suspend, and again, I appreciate that people feel passionately about these issues. I would ask that you respect our witnesses and our committee members and allow the American people to hear their testimony. We will pause until the room is cleared.
300 people in Gaza, 3,500 kids dead. Come on, I'm an Army colonel, I'm a former diplomat, I resigned on that war in Iraq that you talked about. That was a terrible thing, and what we're doing right now in supporting Israel's genocide of Gaza is a terrible thing too.
Diplomacy, our development, must work hand in hand.
I say no more.
Committee will suspend, and again, I appreciate that people feel passionately about these issues. I would ask that you respect our witnesses and our committee members and allow the American people to hear their testimony. We will pause until the room is cleared.
300 people in Gaza, 3,500 kids dead. Come on, I'm an Army colonel, I'm a former diplomat, I resigned on that war in Iraq that you talked about. That was a terrible thing, and what we're doing right now in supporting Israel's genocide of Gaza is a terrible thing too.
I know that several
Palestinians aren't animals. Stop.
Committee will suspend, and I again ask that those in the audience respect the people in the room and allow us to continue the hearing. The hearing will suspend until the disruption is removed.
Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Demilitarize the border. People are not animals.
In our discussions with the Israeli government, the President and I have both stressed the need for Israel to operate by the rule of law.
Why are we handcuffing and arresting them?
Committee will suspend.
Let them be at the table. Why aren't they at the table? Ceasefire now. I beg you. Ceasefire now.
Secretary Blinken, you may continue.
Russia's invasion and strategic.
From Palestine to Mexico, all the world are gonna go. From Palestine to
Committee will suspend.
You're listening there as protesters make their case while Secretary of State Antony Blinken is testifying before the Senate Appropriations Committee about aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the U.S. southern border. We've seen a number of protesters now interrupt the proceedings while Secretary Blinken is talking, advocating against aid for Israel. And now we're seeing the committee pause those hearings so those protesters can be cleared. They are allowed to be in the room, but they are not allowed to disrupt the proceedings, as we've seen one by one over and over again. So it looks like they are clearing the room now of those protesters and trying to have the secretary resume his testimony again. But you can see a number of protesters there sitting in the audience, even those not speaking, hands raised in the air with what looks like red paint on their hands.
In Gaza, now! Ceasefire 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 now!
Thank you. And before I turn back over to you, Secretary Blinken, I just really want to thank the Capitol Police for their very calm and professional manner. We all appreciate it. Secretary Blinken, can you please continue?